Hi, welcome to this session of our 5-day challenge for athletes. Today we are going to focus on the neck and shoulders. And so this is a 10-minute class for neck and shoulder relief. This is great if you are wanting to increase the mobility of the neck and shoulders, as well as if you're a little bit sore from workout and you want to release some of that soreness. I would not recommend this on the first day after a heavy workout, just because if you're really stiff and sore, this will be a little too intense, but maybe 2 or 3 days out is when I would do this one. So let's get started. At home, what I recommend is a big bolster if you have one, or a nice firm pillow. We're gonna start in supported fish. So this will take some of the weight off of the upper body as we get into the posture. So taking a big bolster, a pillow, up at the top of the mat. You might also, or a book or something for your head here. And then turn away from it, align it so it's going to come right at the thoracic spine, right underneath the shoulder blades. Your top of your shoulder should be right at the top of the bolster, and then you can relax your legs out, take the block, support your head, and release the arms down to the floor. You're looking for this big stretch sensation in the chest and shoulders, as well as through the rib cage and the thoracic spine here. You can play with the height of the arms. A little bit higher up is going to be a stronger sensation there in the chest and shoulders. More at shoulder height will be a little more mild, depending on how tight you are through your chest and shoulders. Just make that decision. Trust your body. The Yin practice is very much focused on stillness, and so the challenge here is to find an alignment in the posture that you can maintain for a couple minutes here without fidgeting or shifting around too much. Always err on the side of a little less intense versus going over your edge into pain. We don't want to cause pain here. We just want a nice deep stretch. A little discomfort is normal. Pain or any kind of sensation that makes you unable to hold it in stillness is definitely not okay. Settle into your breath here. It's okay to feel a little tingling. Pretty normal to feel a little tingling in the fingers. Relax the weight of the arms onto the floor. As you breathe in and out, feel how your rib cage expands. You might feel some stretch there through the obliques, maybe even the lats, depending on your body. A couple more breaths here, we'll move on. Your lower body in these postures is completely surrendered to the floor, so no action in the legs, the glutes, the lower back. Just let your weight be supported by the floor. And we'll gently start to come back up to seated, so you can roll to your side or just push up on the prop here. Come up to a seated position, nice and comfortable, seated. If cross-legged seated is uncomfortable, you can always grab towels or blankets, something, and just support your legs a little bit here. And then I want you to grab a strap if you have one, or a belt, even like if you have a robe, the tie strap on your robe works great. You're going to take this strap and hold it above your head, just wide enough that you feel some sensation, some stretch in the shoulders, but not so wide that this range of motion movement is super easy, but also I don't want you to go too tight to the point where you can't get the full range of motion and you're struggling there. So pick the width that you need for your body to get a nice stretch as you come through your full range of motion. Now I know a lot of times, especially if you do a lot of weightlifting, this range of motion could be pretty limited in the shoulders, so it's okay if it's pretty wide for you and that's your full range of motion. What I'm looking for more here is to be able to go through the full range of motion more than any measure of how close your hands are. So pick a spot where you can get through your full range of motion and just start moving through this movement, just gently, slowly, feeling that full rotator cuff range of motion there, full shoulder girdle kind of engaged in this movement here. Also check in if you feel pain or discomfort, if there's a spot that feels kind of like it gets hung up, pay attention to that. We'll come back to that in a second. Just moving through the range of motion, adding a little bit of movement and getting a little bit of blood flow into the shoulder before we move into a little stronger shoulder work here. All right, you can put this to the side. And then take a book, a book, water bottle, firm pillow, block if you have one. You're gonna wanna bring it to your side, your right side to start. And usually just line it right up with the hip. From here, you're gonna take your forearm and side bend. So I want you to side bend down, put your forearm on this block, and you'll feel the stretch here in the left side body. So if this block is on the right side of your body, a book or a couple books work, a big firm pillow would work, something strong that can support your weight. And then 90-degree bend, so you're not shifting forward. This is a side bend. Big, strong stretch here on the side body. You'll feel this from your hip up into the rib cage. From here, if you still want to add a little bit more for the shoulders, you can let the arm come up, the head drop down, and the arm will dangle, resting on the head as the head drops and you get this big stretch in the neck. This is a really strong stretch here through the neck, traps, shoulder, everything here. This might be too intense, and that's okay. You don't have to stay here the whole time. We're not holding these postures as long as we normally would, just because these are shorter classes, but you're welcome to drop the arm down at any time, especially if it's becoming painful, if you're past your edge. We'll take a few more breaths on this side. You can use your right hand to push up as you drop the left hand down. You might feel some dull, achy sensation on the side here as you transition. That's normal. Bringing the block to the other side or your props, whatever you're using. Right there in alignment with the hip, the forearm of the left comes down onto your prop. Allow for the side bend, so you're not dropping the right shoulder. You're still neutral here. Feel the side bend, anchor into your hip. And then you can bring the arm up and over. Let the head drop down so you get the stretch in the neck too. This is pretty strong, especially if you have a lot of tension in your traps, which I know a lot of us do, whether you're an athlete or not. It's a very commonplace for there to be a lot of tension stored in the body. And in the yin practice, you're looking for your edge, you're looking for the sensation of discomfort that feels like a really deep stretch without pushing you over the edge into pain. So explore that in your body. Looking for the challenge of discomfort, but not pushing yourself into pain. We're working with connective tissue joints here, not so much focused on the muscles, so it's not productive to push beyond that edge. We don't want to damage a joint, and connective tissue is not elastic. So take your time, soften in, just a couple more breaths here. We'll push back up, drop the right arm down, move your prop off to the side. We're gonna come into puppy pose. So you'll start in tabletop, leave your hips right over your knees, and then walk your hands out until you can bring your forehead to the floor. You can drop your forearms down and let your heart settle through towards the floor. And you'll get this strong sensation in the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. If this is really, really intense for you, you're welcome to grab either a block or a bolster, a pillow, some kind of support and place it right here underneath the chest. Letting some of that weight from the chest be supported by a prop will help take some of the intensity out of the shoulders in this posture. Always honoring your body. Use the props as much as you need. We'll take a few more breaths. And start to walk back up. And then the final posture of this set will be reverse shavasana. So we'll finish up here, coming down onto the belly. Take your left ear to the mat to start. Full neck rotation here. Arms at your sides. Relax as much as you can. And let the stretch come into the neck. This passive neck stretch is really safe for your neck. We're not loading it with any weight. Couple more breaths. We'll gently move to the other side, so take your chin all the way through, right ear onto the mat. Keep the arms relaxed at your sides, the legs are relaxed. Try to get the ear to the mat so you have full range of motion here in the neck. Last couple breaths. We'll come back to center. You can stay here in Shavasana if you'd like to just relax a little bit more, or you're welcome to come back up to seated. We'll finish with that posture. This wraps up our neck and shoulders session of this 5-day challenge. This is a great class to come back to anytime you are feeling tight in the neck and shoulders, or you've done a big workout or a big activity that has caused soreness here. Again, I don't recommend this if you are one day out from a big workout on the shoulders, just because the soreness is likely to make this tissue pretty tender. I would wait a couple days and then come back to this class anytime you're looking for better shoulder and neck mobility. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon.